This is Don Barrett. It's a wonderful, brilliant friend of mine, a man with a varied career in the entertainment industry.
I am a huge believer that each and every one of us in this room have to market ourselves. And we are so quick to want to market the e-alert, or we want to market, you know, the client that we have, and we forget that we need to market ourselves. And we're all a brand. We all have a dream. We all have a passion. We all have something that is inherently of interest to us. And how do you make that happen in a lifetime with all the young people here? And that really becomes that focus that, you know, and you're in a wonderful environment in publicity. The problem is that most of you don't think about publicizing yourself. And so how do you make that balance between the client that you're trying to get on Dancing with the Stars and yourself? And how do you merchandise and do that? Is it through publishing? Is it through writing a book, starting a website, and so forth? So maybe that's a long way.
Great. Let me two quick questions. 3 studios. Your titles at the studios were?
Well, started out as head of publicity and promotion and ended up as senior vice president of marketing at MGM.
So you had, and you had publicists working for you at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay.
Hundreds.
How many?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. Okay. Great. At what is LARadio.com? An elevator's pitch for what is it? If anyone's never been on it, and they've all received your bio and so forth, but what is LARadio.com? Describe it to us in a minute or less.
It is a community of people who have been in radio, are in radio, or who love radio. And it supports, it talks about, and it just elevates everybody who is in the Los Angeles radio business.
Okay. All right.
And it's very focused. I don't talk about movies. I don't talk about politics. If it's not Los Angeles radio or there's not a connection or link, then it doesn't belong. So I'm very clear that your community has to be what it is.
So if somebody here is representing an author, and that author is going to be on, let's say, Frank Motek's radio show, KNX radio show, they could send you information about that and put it in your site.
Perfect.
If it's on Los Angeles radio, you're interested in it. Great. Okay. So now what I'm interested in is tapping into the psychologist in you. I know you well, and you're very able in this area. What makes a good publicist? What are some of the qualities? Are they, generally speaking, extroverted or introverted? Are they readers? Are they good writers? Are they good talkers? Are they curious people? Are they gay? Are they straight? Are they black? Are they white? Are they young, old? What makes a good publicist? What is the DNA component?
I think you're born with it. I don't think you can teach publicity. I don't think that if you don't know how to get your client or your product or yourself on the cover of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, then you don't belong in this business. I don't know how to teach somebody to get somebody on that cover of any newspaper in the country. The key becomes if inherently behind the belly button you have a sense for that, then we can help you get on the cover of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. But people who don't understand it, Michael, I'm telling you, over years and years and years, if they don't get it, they don't get it. But if there's a curiosity factor, and I think if there's a DNA that goes through it all, it's a curiosity about the human condition. You know, how do we take what this client is, or who they are, or what product they have, and how do we maximize it? I used to give to the people who used to come ask for a job, I said, let's pull out the LA Times today. And I'd pull out the LA Times, and I said, pick a movie. Somebody pick a movie here, their favorite movie.
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. How would you get Sunset Boulevard publicized into every single section of the Los Angeles
The
Times,
food section, the health section, the arts section.
the sports section. So that becomes an exercise that if somebody gets that process, then this world of publicity is absolutely your oyster, because there aren't very many good people who will understand that process. But if you understand that process, it is so much fun finding out and how you maneuver. I always throw out the calendar section. I just throw that one away. I said, anybody can get in the calendar section. And when you think about how all of that started back when newspapers were mainly, just print and not pictures, and somebody gave them a picture of Clark Gable, and all of a sudden people say, oh man, the newspaper was so great today, there was a picture. Then all of a sudden there are more pictures, and then all of a sudden publicity became an important role to link entertainment with the people who were getting the newspapers. And then when television came along, we were one of the very first to what we called a wraparound, but now what you would probably call a video component, where you'll take out scenes from a movie, you'll go to a junket, and you'll get some answers in stock. So if you're in Des Moines and you don't have an opportunity to come to a junket in Los Angeles, we'll give you William Holden, if he were still alive, would give him talking about how it was working on Sunset Boulevard, and how they did that scene in the swimming pool, and how they shot it from underneath and so forth. So all of a sudden you have so many angles that you can pitch. And so the goal for me would be that whatever movie that you're working on is that you need not only to get into every section of the Los Angeles Times, that becomes the goal, but then how do you, with all the mass media today, you enlarge it to everything that's available.
Don knows that every time he agrees with me, I think he's brilliant. So since we agree on this point, I want to expand on it and enlarge on it, because it's something I believe. I think I heard him say that one of the most critical elements besides instinct is curiosity. This is why, guys, I was so passionate with you last summer about going to see the Michael Jackson movie. Forget about the fact that historically we represented him. If you want to work in the entertainment, and let's imagine you want to work in the entertainment industry, which you all do, and you didn't care for Michael Jackson, I still felt it important for you to go, because he was a showman. Because you could go and learn something that will tap into, that you should be curious, right? How did this man become such an icon, and so forth and so on. So I feel very strongly that curiosity is a very important element, and I just want to amplify it, that I agree with Don.
Well, look what you're doing with your newsletter. The key becomes, if you think about this curiosity factor, you're asking personal questions, as simple as what's your favorite book, or what book are you reading now. If somebody likes that personality or that executive and say, oh, he's reading that book, I should put that on my book list of something to read. And so the curiosity factor, you're giving them information that they don't have. You have access to the 317, I always get it wrong, and you always correct me, 317,000 people to pull from, and some pretty heavy hitters. So if you can get one of these heavy hitters to respond, that's enormous amount of information and curiosity factor.
Develop your curiosity. Develop your curiosity. That, I think, can be grown in a person. Go to a movie that you wouldn't normally see, right? Read a book. If for example, I don't read novels very much. I read nonfiction. So read a novel. Stretch beyond your boundary of what you would normally do.